Regular space and superdimensional space reversed. With the paths reconnected, we should be able to keep going. As long as I'm in G Sophia, I don't need the Excel charger when I'm in superdimensional space. Gotta be careful if I get out though. Even time itself seems partially reversed here. Energy vectors too. I don't really understand it all beyond the surface level, but I should expect things to work differently in this space.
Hey Jason, check that out.
Is that a dimensional distortion?
Ah shit, they're back. Those are really dangerous. You should dive in. It'll be fun.
Knock it off. If I even graze that, I'm done for.
Well, duh. That's why I said it. Why not give it a try anyway?
I encountered these dimensional distortions back on planet DeVito. If dimensional ruptures are cracks in space, these distortions are chasms. Even G Sophia's armor can't handle making contact with them. They haven't split the planet like they did on DeVito, but still. Things look pretty dangerous here in superdimensional space. Gotta make sure I don't touch any of these distortions. Welcome to part 3 of Blaster Master 03. Jason's taken the Supreme Vehicle into superdimensional space. Just like with the on-foot sections, you have to take the tank with you on certain occasions. However, you don't have to worry about losing health if you spend too long here. That's only if you disembark G Sophia though. And even then, it will take you like 10 minutes for you to actually start losing health once you exit the tank. The biggest elephant in the room though are the DeVito distortions from the previous game. They make their dreaded return here, and quite honestly, they're not as dangerous as they once were. Remember how you'll die in one hit if you come anywhere near close to those? Well, the energy guards mitigate that to a point. If you touch a distortion and you have the energy guards activated, the health bar for that will deplete, but you'll still get a split second to get back to solid ground before the instant death can kick in. You got these glass platforms that will spawn over the distortions, so trust me, this is not as scary as it looks. Well, actually, you could still fly up into the black holes from below with nothing to protect you. The area I need to get to is up above. And yes, you still need to slam G Sophia onto the ground in order to get SP back. That's just a staple of the series at this point. It makes sense though. It's still technically the same vehicle from 02 except with a few enhancements. Still got the Gaia system, still got the recoil jump, but the vehicle is kind of heavier. So you drop a lot quicker. It's also worth noting that the G Sophia is Jason and Eve's very own battle tank that they built together. Whereas in the first Zero game, the Sophia the Third it wasn't really Eve's tank, was it? It was just a mass-produced tank, and Eve was built along with it to be a support droid. And it came from Sophia the Third planet, which is why they called it Sophia the Third. And then you factor in Kane's Metal Attacker, which is generically called Metal Attacker. So it's basically Sophia the Third again. Or rather, it's the original Sophia the Third tank, and they just couldn't be bothered to come up with a name for it. The glass platforms will shatter once you step on them, so be careful. Or don't be careful because you don't have to worry about insta-dying if you fall into a pit. Oh, and also, reversal number 1. Those glass platforms break in normal space, but in superdimensional space they repair themselves. And no, they don't hide themselves to repair themselves, they just kind of reappear, I guess. They unshatter, technically. You know, I can totally see Jason dancing like a maniac in here. I don't know why. It's probably the color of the floors. It reminds me of a CD strip club or something. Not that I've ever been in a strip club before. But never mind that. Jason and Eve dance party all night long. And Leibniz is invited too. Why not? He is helping me out so far. He probably doesn't even know how to dance. Or maybe he's Cloud from Final Fantasy VII Remake and that he does know how to dance, he just doesn't want to admit that he dances. I gotta play that game again. I'm well past overdue to actually revisit Final Fantasy VII Remake. Especially with Intergrade that came out over the summer. Oh wait, I still don't even have a PS5. How can I play Integrate? Ah! A boss mutant! Even bosses have started to show up? Eve's signal is past here, and this thing's not gonna stop me.
Here's the first real boss of the game, Dual Kirkle. He's pretty simple. Kirkle will shoot what's supposed to be web fluids, but they end up looking like something else. They slow down your movements. He's also got a homing shot and a slash attack. Its weaknesses are the crosswave, the shotgun, and the grenade. And trust me, this isn't really the end of the battle. No, he's got a second form. Whenever you're fighting a main boss of an area, this will happen. Phase 2 of the Kirkle Cinematic Universe, you have to take the tank with you into super dimensional space in order to take him out. And he's pathetically easy! God damn, I don't even know what weakness this guy has because every weapon just takes this guy out instantly. That really goes to show that Kane Gardner really is the toughest boss in Blaster Master history. Anyway, we get the multi-leg.
Did that thing create a dimensional rupture? I fought a mutant that created dimensional distortions before, but this is my first time seeing one use super dimensional space to move. Is that just this boss mutant's special ability? Or did these revived mutants evolve and gain the ability to create ruptures for some reason? Maybe it's just my imagination, but it's as if they're trying to keep me away from here. In any case, I should be wary of rupture creating mutants from now on.
Things are really heating up. Hopefully we can find Eve. Or a strand of DNA. Eve's DNA, a mysterious sample of DNA that gives off Eve's signal. However, since Eve is a gynoid, no such thing should exist.
Eve isn't here either, or maybe she just isn't here anymore. But hey, I'm not leaving here empty-handed. Let's see. This is Eve's DNA. No way. A gynoid like her has DNA?
Support droids are man-made. Those dolls may look human, but let me assure you, they aren't even close.
Leibniz, I told you when we first met not to treat Eve like an object.
Hey, I'm just saying that there's something really off about the idea of a support droid having DNA.
That is actually a good point, Leibniz. That is kind of suspicious.
Even if they're tools or dolls or whatever, I'm not saying they don't have the hearts or souls you like to go on about.
We don't have all the answers yet. We need to contact Kane somehow.
Kane Gardner. I've heard of him. He's from that Famicom game nobody talks about anymore.
Let me handle that. We just need to get to a communications facility. There might be one we can reach with the new maneuver I just picked up.
Now that we have the multi-leg, we can access different areas of the map. And the multi-leg maneuver is very, very cool. It also changes up the controls for the tank just a little bit. Don't worry, we're going to see the multi-leg in action soon, and to a pretty comical effect. The next location I have to go to is at the very bottom of this super dimensional space area. And about that DNA strand from Eve, that is an important plot device, especially towards the end of the game. Let's just say that my question about Eve in the BMC1 playthrough I did a couple of months ago was answered with this plot point. Eve is not only just well endowed, but that's not really the plot important part. The real point of this game is, where the fuck is Eve Gardner at? Alright, I couldn't go through this area before, but now that I have the multi-leg ability, I can just tread through this toxic sludge water and avoid all of the enemies here. The spider-type enemies will see you as their own and they'll wave at you. Other enemy types will not and they'll still shoot at you, however, so be careful.
An SF communications base. If I can access their equipment, I should be able to contact Kane. SF facilities are guarded by combat drones that attack any intruders. It's too dangerous to just charge in. Is there some way I can go around?
Why yes, Jason, there is a way around. There's a crack in space in the other room. You can take a massive shortcut through this dungeon using superdimensional space. Most dungeons, especially the Sophia Force dungeons, will have a normal space and a superdimensional space side to them. The evil Eves are already common enemies, so okay then. Oh, bad touch. Eve hasn't played much Space Invaders, but I can tell she's a big fan of personal Space Invaders. Up next is this Goez in the doorway, just pump him full of lasers. Once this Goez is out of the way, there's only a couple more rooms left. And this one, which is... oh, it's only a couple more evil Eves, and they can't even get to me. Back to reality. My god, who wouldn't want to live in superdimensional space? That place sucks. Anyway, we got another energy guard for Jason, and now it's time to talk to Kane.
Jason! Where in the world are you calling me from? I'm hacking an SF communications facility in the Dome City. I disguised the signal, so we should be safe for now.
Oh, look at you, acting like a proper criminal now.
Aren't you Garuda's pilot? What are you doing in G Sophia?
Your SF goons blew poor Garuda to pieces. Now I have to associate with this shady old radicalist here.
Seriously? You know I'm supposed to be hunting you two down, right? Sorry, but I have something I need to ask you about. When I was tracking Eve's signal, I found some of Eve's DNA. Eve's DNA? What do you mean? She's a gynoid. She has no DNA. Since you were involved in the development of MAs and support droids, I thought you might know something. I was only involved in planning the MA frames and field tests. Sorry to tell you this, but support droids aren't my area of expertise. I see. But, if there's anyone who can help you, it would be her. Her? Jennifer Gardner. She's at the Science Academy on the satellite Nora. Jennifer. Her name was with yours when Sophia Zero was sent to Earth. She's my wife, and was part of both the MA and support droid projects. Give her that DNA to analyze. She may be able to discern its origin. So we need to get to the satellite Nora. Looks like we'll have to ship out from this planet then. The SF will shoot you down in an instant if you use the landing point. There is a mass driver nearby that's used to launch supplies to Nora. If you launch G Sophia from there, disguised as freight, the SF should ignore you, but... the mass driver isn't designed to launch passengers, so prepare yourselves for a dangerous ride. I'm in no position to be picky. I'll head to the mass driver. You'll need an access key to enter that area. Use this. That should let you open the security gate in the area. However, you'll need a tag to disguise G Sophia as freight. A disguise tag, huh? Got it, I'll keep an eye out. Also, Jason, that system you used to enter the ruptures, VRV, was it? Right, the system Eve left for me. It activates when I lower my visor. It's just a hunch, but you shouldn't overuse it, even if Eve did make it. Perhaps the problem isn't the system, but in any case, don't abuse it. Yeah, sure, I'll be careful. By the way, Kane, I have one more thing I need to ask you. What is it? Let's say, hypothetically, if Eve really was responsible for reviving the mutants on Sophia, what will you do? Did you find something? No. I see. If your question is purely hypothetical, then my duty is to protect the planet Sophia. I cannot show mercy to those who threaten it. I believe in you, Jason. Understood, sir. Get that disguise tag from the mass driver, then start making your way to Nora. It should be right on the other side of the area gate. Well, looks like we're going to see Jennifer, but we're not going to see California though. That's a reference to the wizard, by the way. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this part, but I am still going to show off the Leibniz conversations because they are genuinely interesting to listen to. So I hope you enjoy.
I just want to clear things up a bit. If you're expecting me to rush gallantly to your rescue when you're lying on the brink of death, or if you're imagining standing back to back fighting off the mutants, you got another thing coming. As if I waste the energy.
Don't worry, I wasn't expecting anything of the sort.
Well, hey, at the very least, I'll lift a single finger. Then use it to point and laugh at you.
You are seriously the worst. I love that. The banter in this game is awesome. Hey Leibniz, what happened back on Earth?
I saved the planet from mutants. What else were you expecting?
Well, you were saying that you never should have gone, so I was wondering if something bad went down there.
Oh, who knows? Maybe I just wanted to rile you up a bit. It's so easy to do. I guess I could talk about it, but when the audience is just you...
Ribbit?
Yeah, you too. Still don't feel like it. Who knows? I may feel up to it one day, but don't get your hopes up.
He never talks about what goes down on Earth. Let's head for the mass driver. Gotta find that disguise tag too. That's just an out of things to say dialogue box, but there's more to say.
G Sophia SV, huh? What's the SV stand for?
Supreme Vehicle. Which might sound grand, but all he did was fix G Sophia with parts from Andrea.
Wow, big name for small changes, huh? Ooh, found some audio data here.
Could you please not go snooping around our files? Those are top secret. Oh, it's Eve. I really went all out this time. With this, the SP system can now split resources between main and sub-weapons. Output and performance for both are increased, and the repercussions of system shutdowns are essentially halved. When the main system goes down, cannon output will be dropped, but sub-weapons and maneuvers will not be affected. When the subsystem goes down, chassis performance will drop, but cannon output will not be affected, so you can keep fighting. However, if all systems go down at once, the repercussions will be worse than ever before, meaning you'll freaking explode. But the energy conversion rate of the Gaia system is now much better and will restore both SP systems. Keep energy topped off by finding tall places to fall from, and system shutdowns shouldn't be a problem. However, the reduced conversion ratio of after using the hover maneuver is the same as ever, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, you just wanted to brag about your supreme vehicle. I get it.
Eve and I worked on it together, and we've written it for so long. It's only natural that we be so fond of it. G Sophia and Jason's weapons can be registered to shortcut buttons. You just refer to Jason in the third person instead of towards him. That was kind of strange. The shortcut buttons are back. You just map it to R2 or L2 or whatever shoulder button you use for the Switch or Xbox One, and there you go.
More audio files about your gear. Sounds fun. I'll just have a listen.
Here's G Sophia's trusty main cannon, the G Crusher Shot. It can destroy terrain blocks and fire at angles or straight up. It won't consume main SP, but the mutants are always getting tougher. I'm afraid it may not be as useful as it used to be. Of course, it's great for saving SP, so it's certainly not useless, but you should try to use more effective weapons, even if they consume SP. Sophia SV has the guide system to recharge your SP, so you're all set.
I'm starting to think that Leibniz is enjoying the sound of Eve's voice at this point.
The Warhead missile subweapon fires a set of missiles in a wave pattern. Their trajectory matches the cannons, so they can be fired diagonally. I know what you're thinking. Aren't they the same as always? Actually, I've slightly altered the wave pattern of the missiles. It should be easier for your shots to hit their mark. But only slightly.
Damn it, you didn't improve anything, Eve.
Homing laser is a sub-weapon for my MA Garuda.
So I guess you're gonna give me an explanation for this one?
Seriously? I already told you how it works one time. How many times do I have to explain the same thing to you? Jeez.
So I guess that's a no then.
Kind of throwing shade at Eve from the first BMZ game.
I was just gonna do some maintenance on Jason's equipment, but I ended up doing a complete overhaul. First off is the G rifle. I totally redid the gun level system. There are 5 weapon types that will be available at all times, no matter what gun level you're at. The days when low gun levels cut off access to weapons are over. Now the gun level will affect the performance of the projectiles. That includes attributes such as damage, rate of fire, and piercing. Maintaining a high gun level will be just as important as ever, so be on your guard and avoid damage whenever you can. Next is the back-mounted R blaster rifle. This one fires your sub-weapons. For now it can only fire the blast launcher in place of the old grenade bombs. Which both of them are pretty much the same type of grenades regardless, so it doesn't matter. If you find any sub-weapon chips, you can unlock other types of weapons. I wanted to do everything I could to save this blaster rifle I found in Area Omega. I hope it can help protect you, Jason.
Okay, so while on foot, Eve can talk about the 5 different weapons you have at your disposal.
The high diffusion weapon fires shots in a widespread pattern. It's useful for both small enemies that are hard to aim at and enemies large enough to be hit by several projectiles at once. The number and range of shots increase along with the gun level, but it needs time to reload after firing a certain number of shots. It also might not be well suited for combat in tight spaces. The blast launcher is a sub-weapon that fires exploding projectiles. It's similar to the old grenade bomb. Oh, okay, she even mentions that it's similar to the other weapon from BMC 1 and 2. So I don't need to read this. It destroys cracked walls though, at least behind a bit of a lingering residue, I guess. The RG blaster weapon type fires projectiles straight forward. With a low gun level, it lacks power or rate of fire. It may be difficult to use in combat in that state. Otherwise, its straightforward firepower makes it easy to use. Once the gun level is maxed out, you can even charge your shots. The Turbo Whip excels at close-range combat. It uses a whip-shaped beam of energy to attack up close and personal. However, you won't be able to move while attacking, so be careful. The number of consecutive hits it can perform increases with your gun level, and it gains the ability to cancel enemy projectiles as well. If your gun level is high enough, it can even momentarily stun enemies, so take advantage of that and unleash some big combos. The lock-on striker unleashes lightning attacks after it locks onto nearby enemies. It will lock onto and attack any enemies in its search radius, even ones on the other side of walls, so use the terrain to your advantage. As your gun level increases, the radius grows and locks onto more targets. This is actually the newest version of the old striker weapon. Doesn't it make you want to shout, "Oversurge!" just like old times? No? Not really? Aww, if you say so. Crosswave. Yeah, I know. This is what you've been waiting for. It has top class rate of fire and penetration, all while leaving a trail of damage and energy in its wake. But if you don't keep your gun level topped off, you'll see that it has trouble outputting damage. So don't get hurt. Seriously, I mean it. It's not about your gun level, I just don't want you getting hurt. Please be safe out there, Jason. Oh, Eve definitely cares about Jason a little too much. I'll see you guys later.